Good evening. It is 6:01, January 27th, 2026. This is a meeting of Norwalk's Conservation Commission and Inland Wetland Agency. Could I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Devin Healy,
Here.
Elise Alum,
Here. And
Alan.
it's okay, Steve.
Don't second guess yourself.
Anyway, my sincere apologies. Commissioner Breslin
Present.
and Mr. Clack.
I'm here.
Like the garlic.
I know, but okay.
Moving on. Is there anyone logged on from the public for comment on an issue that is not on our agenda tonight? And Ms. Knight is joining, 6:02. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay. So there's I believe it's Linnell Jones. And again, the way that since the Inland Wetland Agency is a land use regulatory agency, if it's regarding any of the pending applications on tonight's application, there cannot be comment, but if you have general comments, you can make those comments. So I'll allow Ms. Jones to talk. You should be able to speak.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Linnell Jones and my address is 10 Point Road. Last month, I attended your meeting to make a public comment questioning the need to reclassify Manresa wetlands. In my comment, I mentioned both the Connecticut Coastal Management Act and the Connecticut Flood Management Act. Today, I shared an email with a summary of the Connecticut Flood Management Act. The link about when flood management certificates are required includes a 15-minute video titled Rising Waters. If federal or state money was the source of the grant for 2 East Rocks Road, which it was, state review, a permit, and a flood management certificate are required according to the Connecticut Flood Management Act. Was the issuance of a declaratory ruling a regulatory tactic to avoid deep review in this case? Was this an appropriate or fair use of a declaratory ruling, given this was a grant, a state grant? I've questioned P&Z regarding CAM, Coastal Area Management, compliance before. Now I question compliance with the Connecticut Flood Management Act and believe you should too. The Connecticut Flood Management Act requires that all activities in floodplains conform to the standards of the National Flood Insurance Program, which is administered by FEMA. Connecticut regulations specifically require that projects comply with FEMA's, quote, criteria for land management and use, unquote. And this means when state money is used, state grant money, no activity in regulated floodplains can occur without a flood management certificate. Why risk potential misuse of public grant funds? This is not a jurisdictional issue where a municipality can just declare land mapped as regulated to suddenly not be a regulated floodplain and thereby avoid complying with the Connecticut Flood Management Act. Declaratory rulings of this nature at the municipal level, particularly when not fully and clearly explained, create a very real risk of Norwalk losing federal flood insurance, as well as other grants. This commission is engaged, and I thank you for being honest and ethical, requesting full transparency and showing an interest in accountability for the environment. Municipalities can decide many things. However, federal and state laws about spending federal and state grant money in flood zones and floodplains are not nullified by a local municipality's declaratory ruling. Thank you for reviewing both videos in the email shared today. The East Norwalk Neighborhood Association email includes a short video where Norwalk's director of P&Z demeans the idea that the environment or the Connecticut Coastal Management Act is a barrier to development in the flood zone. Please consider asking for Connecticut Coastal Area Management and Connecticut Flood Management Act legal training. Thank you.
Thanks, Linnell. How would we go about learning more about that, Alexis? Can you help with that?
With which part?
I think just understanding the flood legislation. I'm just asking. I go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, the flood hazard regulations are part of the zoning regulations. It's a section of the zoning regulations as far as the administration of land use within a flood zone.
That's a good question. Linnell? Oh, is she still with us?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess first of all, let me ask a question. I think we're just your statement was a general one, right? About maybe the other commission could be a little more aggressive about or be a little more proactive about educating ourselves on the stormwater and flood legislation that applies to our town. Is that what your statement's about?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. No, I just make a statement that I believe that when you get state money, that the Flood Management Act is an important act to be followed. I think we're risking a lot. And I think I only had 3 minutes. I don't want to waste your time. You're a great commission. There's a lot on the web. That's why I shared what I shared.
Okay.
I've written presentations since 2021. I'll share more with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you. I think you are an excellent commission. You asked excellent questions. And even Parks and Recs went out of their way to help me with information. Unfortunately, the guy got hacked on Monday, so be careful with your emails.
Okay.
No, seriously, Ken was. And I think communicating, even if we debate a topic and we don't settle it, it's better to share ideas. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ms. Knight, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think Alexis, maybe some of the challenges are in terms of what's within the purview of the Inland Wetland Agency of where we look at permits. We have a pretty defined scope. And some of the points I would urge you to maybe also flag with DEEP, who are directly responsible for the Coastal Management Act. It doesn't really fall under municipal purview or the purview of this commission. And I think the flooding also is something with P&Z. I don't know, Alexis, if you can.
Well, can I jump in real quick? I think I've got my Conservation Commission hat on at the moment, not my Inland Wetland Agency hat. And so what I'm taking away from what Ms. Jones offered was that, I could be more educated from a Conservation Commission standpoint about, the rules about developing in flood zones and such. I don't think it really has any application to what we do as an Inland Wetland Agency. Okay, I'll take my hand down. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Okay, anyone else from the public who wanted to share anything with us, Alexis?
If you are a member of the public and have a general comment, you can use the raise your hand feature. Otherwise, we'll continue with the agenda. I don't see any additional hands.
Cool. All right, let's keep going then with the agenda. Receipt and discussion for S26-661 Five Witch Lane.
So this is a proposed subdivision of land of a existing oversized lot. It is, I'll just do a very quick explanation of where we are. So this is the 5 Mile River Harbor. Here is the Darien line, and so Cudlip becomes Rowayton Ave. This is Witch Lane here, and this is the parcel here. The applicant is here to do a brief presentation. I know that I had sent you guys also my initial preliminary review letter that requested some additional details regarding the scope of work. And just a word about subdivisions, they're a little different than your usual application. The applicant, if successful, would go through this subdivision application. In that subdivision application, they would show how they would reasonably develop the lot, but that's not their kind of final permit. It's kind of defining the general scope of how you would access the lot, how the utilities access the lot, how can a house be situated, and then if they are successful with a gaining an additional lot, then the actual development of the lot would return to you.
And can I chime in real quick, actually, before anyone else does? And Catherine, I'm kind of, I think, reading your mind. This is always tricky for us because we're only being asked to approve a subdivision for a home that is yet to be designed and a landscaping plan that is yet to be designed. And so it's this weird spot where we need to look at it and be like, okay, well, is it feasible? Is there any, harm as far as we're concerned and as far as the statutes are concerned? But know that it's going to come back to us in a month or a year or 5 years with a real design that we're going to have to review. But for now, we're like not there yet. Anything that, and Liz, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but anything that's on the drawings that you're submitting now is strictly for representative purposes. And just kind of repeating what Alexis said.
For you to assess the impacts on wetland resources, if there is a subdivision, correct?
Cool. With that, Ms. Suchi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Conservation Commission. My name is Liz Suchi. I'm a partner at Carmody, Torrance, Sandak, and Hennessy, 1055 Washington Boulevard in Stamford. Thank you for hearing us this evening at this formal receipt preliminary review discussion about this proposed subdivision. Present tonight are John and Kristen Maloney. They are the property owners. They are on tonight's meeting. Also, Eric Avila and Christian Fontanilla. They are civil engineers with SE Minor who have prepared the grading, site plan, and other plans that accompanied this subdivision application. The property is located at 5 Witch Lane, which Alexis just described with the aerial map. It's District 6, Block 23A, Lot 27. It is in the CD1S zone, which used to be the old B resident zone. The property is about, it's more than 3 acres, three quarters of an acre in size. It's 35,600 plus square feet in a zone that allows lots to be a minimum size of 6,250 square feet. Right now, there is a single family house on it that the Maloney's live in. It's about 2,200 square feet, built in 1962. Christian or Eric, could you call up either the survey or just the quick site plan? There is a water course that traverses the property in a north-south direction, generally in the middle to the western section of the property. And the house is, as you can see right here, the existing house is on the bottom, the right side of the map. Generally in the middle, you'll see identified as brook. Next to the brook, there's a sanitary sewer easement. So the proposal before you is strictly to create lines on the page and have those lines on the page identified as a subdivision that is appropriate for this commission, and then also which would have to be evaluated by the Planning and Zoning Commission as it reviews subdivision applications after and as part of your review. The Planning and Zoning Commission application was also filed, but the Planning and Zoning Commission could not act upon a subdivision application until this commission makes its decision strictly on the subdivision component in the subdivision application. As Alexis indicated before, should you deem it appropriate to approve the subdivision, that's just to create 2 lots, a full application would need to be returned to you for development of the site and for further analysis and evaluation of impacts to that brook that traverses the property and wetlands that exist around it. As Alexis also correctly indicated, and as the chairman indicated, this is just a preliminary conceptual idea of what could go on the property, where there could be a structure, but this is not the structure nor the final design, since that is not something that is before you. It hasn't been finalized. but as part of your requirements, we are obligated to show you what would the access be, generally where could a structure be located, and how then it is our obligation to demonstrate that future date impacts to the wetlands, the watercourse that exists on site. So again, it's a 2-lot subdivision, 35,000 plus square feet of land divided into 2 lots. The house that exists would remain on 1 lot, and then we would open up the lot. We would have another lot to the north and west for future development purposes. Even something like the crossing of the brook, which you don't see that often, that would have to be completely engineered, designed, and analyzed to determine the impacts that it may have on that brook that travels southbound from northern property through our property and then off to the west toward property adjacent to 200 Royton Avenue LLC. That is the long and short of what we're proposing to share with you tonight. And I say that because we did receive comments from staff on Friday. We have discussed those comments, and we are going to be providing supplemental documents and reports in response to those comments. So we wanted you to have the opportunity to see what this proposal is all about. And certainly we would be back before you at your next meeting, hopefully, with answers to the questions that staff raised. However, we're happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time and see what concerns you may have. And perhaps as we move forward in responding to Alexis's comments, we can also incorporate responses to your comments as well.
Thank you. Alexis, would you think now's a good time to share your feedback? Or Liz, did you not want to get into that tonight?
Mr. Chair, I prefer not to respond to Alexis's comments since we only today met with our civil engineers and property owners to discuss the comments. We received them Friday. And I think it's appropriate for us to have the opportunity to review, devise responsive plans and additional analyses, and then we can certainly have that discussion in full at your next meeting.
You got it.
And I would just going back to the comments that you just made a few minutes ago, Liz, about what is incorporated within the subdivision application versus a potentially future development application if the subdivision is approved. And I certainly agree about your comments with the house. But I know that the Conservation Commission for other subdivisions where, for example, there is a proposed public road, for example, a larger subdivision, the individual lots would require future development permits, but that the road and any associated improvements like that would be part of the subdivision application. And I don't know if, I guess I would argue that the access, including the bridge, would be part of the subdivision application, because I think the commission needs to understand that crossing completely to understand the impacts of an approved subdivision.
We can certainly look at that and incorporate responsive comments to that particular point with the other documentation we will provide in response to your memo from Friday. I think that's appropriate.
Alexis, you said that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on a
Catherine.
second, Heather. Yeah, Catherine had her hand up.
Yeah.
Has there been a more recent wetland delineation look at the property, or is it going off? I was trying to read the 2021. And then the second question is, like, where are the lines of the setbacks in terms of the idea of where the development could go from the wetlands and the watercourse? You know, how much are they proposing to develop within the setbacks? And where are the flood zones, and what is the grading that's going to be required? Because it looks like it gets quite steep toward the back of the site.
Commissioner, many of these questions were incorporated into Alexis's memo, and we will be providing that information, such as the appropriate flood lines on the plan, such as at least zoning setbacks, and perhaps, well, there is some indication on the plan of, for example, on the proposed house, and again, this is purely conceptual, the distance from the corner of the house to at least the sanitary sewer easement is 13 feet. To the brook, it's probably, I'm going to say maybe 2022. But that additional information will be provided on the supplemental plans that we submit to you, because it is important for you to have a better sense of where there could be an envelope for construction and what those setbacks are, what the grading is, and what the flood lines are. So certainly that will be something we will incorporate.
Okay. Heather, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask?
I was just gonna say, on Alexis's document, it looks like, so this has been submitted to planning and zoning, or it's already, it's going to be approved because it is zoned properly.
No, it's been a subdivision application that's been submitted to the Planning and Zoning Commission staff.
Yeah,
That staff has not yet begun any review of the application.
okay.
Yeah, I've got Catherine, your hand is still up. You don't want it up though, do you? Okay.
I
Yeah,
have
I've
another
got-
one just in terms
Oh, you
of,
got another one? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Just, one of the things they say is looking at proposed alternatives, but I mean, you still have quite a lot of distance in terms of the proposed subdivision between the two lots, and we might urge you to consider looking at subdivision options that maybe put both the developments of the properties on without having to cross the water course. So, I mean, you've got a bit of space. You've got like 29, almost 30 feet from the side of the house to the subdivision line. And I know with zoning on some of the smaller lots and everything, I think it's like 5 feet or something, or 8 feet or something. So, I mean, there's room to play with in terms of potentially fitting in another dwelling on this side of so I would urge them to look at that option as well, if they're wanting to be more successful with a subdivision.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, we're trying to land a 747 on a tennis court or a pickleball court, which is the more up-to-date reference. That's all I'm gonna say about what we're seeing right now. So hopefully we can come up with something better next time.
Sure. We'll take a
Any-
look at if there are options available, and that will be incorporated into whatever else we provide to. But we appreciate your initial comments at this stage.
Groovy. Any other commissioners? Okay, we'll move on then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Okay.
Moving on to discussion and or decision, and Alexis is going to have something to say about this one. S25-659 Longshore Avenue, Manresa Osprey LLC.
So just that I know that this application was up for receipt at the last meeting, and the applicant indicated that they'd be withdrawing with a successful wetland map amendment. As you know, that wetland map amendment was successful. They are, though, tentatively waiting for the appeal period to end. So anytime that any decision is made for a wetland permit, there is a 14-day appeal period that starts at the time of the legal notice of decision, and that hasn't yet arrived. So I do anticipate a withdrawal of the application in the next couple days. So nothing to report.
Fantastic. Anybody have questions about that, or can we move on? Okay. Moving on then to S25-660 for Singing Woods Road.
Okay, this application was also received at your previous meeting. You had a lot of feedback regarding some opportunities for improvement to the proposed site plan as far as the amount of activity and its proximity to the wetland and watercourse. And the applicant has responded and submitted some revised site plans and a revised mitigation plan. And I will, unless any commissioners, you have any questions, or if Chairman Clocky, you want to go in a different direction, we'll put it over to the applicant.
Let's see what we got.
And the applicant, let me know if you want me to share my screen. Otherwise, you should have the ability to share your screens, and I would encourage you to do so.
Okay, I'll start it off, but this is Len DeAndrea, with my hand up, and to my left is Brian French, who was the main engineer on this. As a PE, I was overseeing this design. I'll see if I can start sharing some information with us. Okay. All right, so it just, I wasn't at the last meeting, or I came in late and just observed some of it, then Brian filled me in. Just a quick rehash is Gray Rock Woods LLC, principal Jerry Efron, bought these 5 properties. They were already approved as buildable lots when he purchased them, and he's done some development, as you're well aware. In the back, start with the house. The house was existing. He did some renovation. It's a very beautiful little house. It sold very quickly. He went on and applied for, was approved, and completed the improvements in the large tract in the back known as number 18. And he's now completed construction on lot 6A, number 10 in this corner here. And he's in the approval process right now for lot 15, which is number 14. So we're here for this final piece of property here. And of course, it does have the regulated areas that you're all well aware of. When we listened to you last time around, you thought there were ways to improve on our site design. So we certainly took a good hard look at that, and I think we've done a pretty good job. So what I've got in front of you now is the site plan. And on this, it shows in some shaded areas. First is the septic system in this location here. There are 2 rows shown. The row closer to the wetlands is the code compliant reserve area. Should there be a problem with a new dwelling, we need to demonstrate that we both have a primary and a reserve area, so twice the size of design. The septic tank behind that. The soils are quite good there. These soils, of course, were witnessed with the health department, and my understanding is they don't actually go into more in-depth review and approval until after we get past the wetlands application. By setting that's the most important part. We then found the location, obviously, as close to the front as we could for the dwelling. It's a fairly modest sized dwelling of a footprint of only about 2,700 square feet. And then to the left of that, a modest back out area. We'd love to have 35 feet. 30 is okay, and I think we have a little bit less than that. Short driveway. Then, being that this was a vacant lot, obviously water quality and control is important. Again, we have that located in the back of the property, and that, of course, will help to hydrate the soils, but it also attenuates the peak rate of discharge and gives us that infiltration for water quality. The other thing we did too, when we look at the site design, is we're trying to minimize the grading. And in this location here with the house selection, the first floor is proposed only a couple of feet above the existing grade that runs through the dwelling. And that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Usually that differential from a finished first floor to the outside is about 2 feet. Behind that, he has a patio, modest size, and a screened porch. He's found this to be very successful with other homes because it's basically a multi-season amenity to the dwelling. To make this a little bit easier for you to follow too, and which was lacking on ours, first of all, we revised things such that we pull back the grading. The whole idea here is don't take down trees that were unnecessary to take down. So starting in the front, we've saved some trees between the septic system and the street. And then as you approach in this corridor where we have these green areas shown, which I'll get into in a second, there's plenty of other trees in there now, some of which we had shown to be removed. I think the number now is 11 less trees being removed. We've shown the demarcation feature of the stone wall. That's consistent with Kenny's plan. So as you compare the two, you'll see exactly where the two plans coincide. And then the reason we've shown these areas here, these are the vegetative infill areas that Kenny's group will talk to you about in a few minutes here. So when we look at this, we've tightened up the gradings around the house. We take this demarcation feature of the boulder wall and we measure that out, and that's about 18,700 square feet, or about 42% of the property being set aside as undisturbed and actually improve with some of this new vegetation coming in. So that's just a quick overview. If you have any specific questions for me, that's I'm glad to answer them. If not, we can turn it over to Bill Kenny's group. But just one last thing, I should bring this up too. So we have a separate plan in our set that shows in more detail the sedimentation and erosion control features. And we're showing this line of silt fencing now broken up in sections, which is a better way to install it. Beyond that, we're still showing tree protection to make it very clear these trees are not to be removed. And we've pulled this farther away from the wetlands itself. So going inside of that area to do the infill vegetation, that's fine. Kenny's group can talk about that, but we want to make it very clear that that's the limit of disturbance for the developer, so we don't have any issues there. Again, that's it on my side. Unless you have any specific questions, we can turn it over to Drew from Kenny's office.
Let's keep rolling.
Okay, take it away.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Delatch. I'm a land use ecologist. I work for William Kenny Associates based out of Fairfield. Bill's not available to hop on tonight, so I'm going to be filling in. I'm going to be reviewing the January 20th, 2026 revision to the Wetland Buffer Habitat Enhancement Plan, which I'll pull up right now. Just 1 second. I can do this. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
All right. So overall, the primary changes to the plan following the input of the commission at the last meeting was expansion of the buffer area throughout here, as well as Len discussed preservation of about 9 trees that were approximately in this location. The buffer is expanded approximately by 1,236 square feet from what we were previously showing on the last revision of the plan. And it's now proposed to be tied in to the buffer to the north at the northern property. So connecting right around the property boundary there in the north. Previously in this location right about here, which I believe on their plan is about wetland flag 94, the limit of disturbance was shown at about 6 feet closest point to the wetland. I believe now in this location, it's right around 30 feet. I don't believe at any point throughout this entire buffer is it closer than 20 feet, which is generally the same buffer width as was previously approved at the lot to the north at 18 Singing Woods. Also, following last meeting, and as Len discussed, we are preserving now 11 trees, 9 of which were previously shown within this buffer area. And now 2 are also to be preserved outside of it as well, down south below the septic system. I believe the trees are fairly mature. These 11 trees ranging from about 12 inches to 30-inch DBH. So these are sizable trees that we were able to actually retain and incorporate into this buffer plan. And in addition, the plan also now calls for the installation of a couple more native trees that we can fit with the expansion. So overall, we feel the plan with the 42% of the property being reserved in this buffer naturalized area, it's a fairly strong balance between the two, the residential development in that. So if you have any questions for me, happy to address this.
Hey, I wasn't paying attention. Thank you, Andrew. Catherine or Devin, who's up first?
Devin.
Oh, I was going to say Catherine.
Wow.
I'll go first. So, can you you said you were adding more trees to the plan. On the plan that we saw last time, I saw that there were 6 trees and 15 shrubs, and now I see there's 8 trees and 14 shrubs. So, my question is, there's one less shrub and I guess 2 more trees. Is that correct?
Yep, 1 less shrub and 2 more native trees. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And where were those? Where are they on the plan, Andrew?
They're spread throughout. So these circles, this clear circles are the larger ones, the trees, and 2 of them are proposed outside of the buffer. The sourwoods down here along the street, and then
OA?
are, yes, the OA, and dogwoods, and scarlet oaks as well. And then the shrubs are kind of easy to see with these little black lines that jut throughout here.
And is
Okay.
there a reason that you removed one of them? I'm just curious about, it's obviously kind of insignificant, just one, but is there
I
a
believe it
reason?
was just to favor the flowering trees, and with the edge habitat, which will fill in pretty rapidly along the wood line, with adding a native flowering tree was favored.
Got it, thanks.
Catherine?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if you had it measured out on the drawings and the site plans, exactly what the distance is to the of the buffer. 20 feet feels a little bit thin. I think, you know, in looking at what's on the neighboring property, I think they have a little bit more generous of a buffer. The other thing was, you know, that was approved, I think, when the upland review area was at 50 feet, and we've subsequently moved that to 100 feet. So, you know, I appreciate that you're looking at the percentages, but I mean, that's not really what we evaluate as percentages. Our purview is to protect and minimize the impact and disturbance to the wetlands and watercourse. So if you have significant wetlands and watercourse on your property, then, you know, that kind of has an impact. So I think, you know, 20 feet is definitely less than what we've asked for from previous applicants. So that doesn't feel like it's moved too much.
Just so I might add, 20 feet is at the lowest point. In other locations, it's 30 approximately. Or
Well, just visually, Drew, I mean, honestly, zoom in if you don't mind, up to the property to the north. I mean, you can't argue that the buffer does shrink down in this proposal as compared to the previously approved one to the north. I mean, right? We're all looking at the same thing here.
sorry, my Adobe is a little.
Are you using Alexis's computer?
It's definitely not the quickest computer.
Tell Bill to get you a new one.
If this is Len DeAndre, if I may chime in too, when you get over to that property line where Andrew is heading, there's a twin 24-inch maple. I don't see any reason why we couldn't expand it a little bit more in that direction, which I believe is west, and increase that buffer to probably 35 feet.
Yeah, I'm happy to discuss that with Bill and see if we can get that adjustment.
Thanks. Len, tell me this. Can the septic field go to the north of the house in between the house and the retention field?
That's a great question, and everything has a setback. Your commission has a setback, and we have to honor setbacks from septic systems to footing drains to wetlands and drainage. So there's not enough room to put it between the house with footing drains and then in between the infiltration system. I would say that, you know, we've been doing these septic systems for many, many years. Well, maybe Brian not as much as myself, but the systems have changed. The design techniques have changed. There's better products out there. A new system is reliable. We certainly have to attend to a lot of older properties that might be 30, 40 years old.
Sure.
When it's done and installed correctly, which we have to supervise, the health department has to sign off. What you get is renovation and you're recharging groundwater. So whether we're at this location or in between, we're still moving in the same direction. We're still moving in the same.
Yeah, I guess I was just looking for a way to give us even more of a buffer.
I totally
somehow.
understand you on this, but we're sensitive as you are to your wetlands. We're just as sensitive to making sure we put these systems in the best soils.
Yeah, but so you said a couple different things though. You said distance to footing drains, and then you talked about soils. So why would the soil to the north be appropriate for the retention system, but not the septic system?
Actually, I'll tell you what, I didn't do the soil testing. So with Brian standing next to me, what can you say about that?
So the soils, it's more than just the soils that usually you look at when you're designing the septic. So you have to consider the length of the system. One reason, in considering moving the septic to the north or back where the drainage system is, it actually would expand, has a longer footprint than that drainage system that's currently there.
Yeah.
and if anything, might push closer towards wetlands.
Right.
And considering that, and just trying to balance where drainage can go versus a septic can be pumped and drainage can't. Um, the soils in combination with the slope of the land and everything kind of fit where we proposed the septic.
Yeah, I see
Well,
that.
you didn't answer the question about the soil. So the soil to the north is probably perfectly acceptable for both types of systems. Yes or no?
Check your.
And
check
I'm
your-
gonna let me just check the restrictive layers are what kind of dictate the size of the system as well.
Okay.
And if I could just look quickly, I know that there were slightly higher restrictive layers in the back compared to the front. So
You'd have more of a mounded system.
yeah, you'd create more grading.
Well, but you've also got you're also a lot lower down there to the north as well. I mean, the 126. All I'm saying is, and the other thing is the shape of a septic system, I know for a fact, is not set in stone. I mean, I'm having one redesigned right now that, I know you can do this in more than one way. So if it was, say, 3 rows or whatever versus 2 or, of a different width, I mean, it's more work. What I'm getting at is it allows us to save more of the trees in the upland review area, which, if we quit spreading all of our subsurface infrastructure around the site, it removes or reduces the amount of site that we need to disturb. And further to that point, well, I'll stop there, but
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but you do have to balance this, and both of them are recharging groundwater.
yeah,
And
that's not what I'm worried about
Yeah,
at
as
all.
Brian points out, the septic systems are less long when you have a better gradient of soil and better soil below.
Yep.
And to this point, we are actually pumping because of the level of the system. We're pumping to the septic system, which, believe it or not, is better at this location than if we swap it around. We can't pump the drainage. So
Yeah.
we could say, all right, don't let us have to do any drainage, and we'll flip that over there and we'll eliminate drainage altogether. But we can't, because you have a pretty good thorough drainage manual that we also have to abide by. So it's truly a balance. It's truly a balance.
Yeah, but but I still haven't heard you say that, no, there's no way that the septic system could go to the north.
Well, I can say that. We have to get them both. And that's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
if you take away the drainage system, we can put the septic system to the north. But
So you're saying there's not room for both of them?
That's truly true. Because also, too, just one last thing. If we do it to the north, we'll have it a less of a buffer to the septic system, as Brian points out, because of the length. So in this case, for this site design, we cannot flip the two.
Not even with the different shape of your septic leach field.
And well, that's the other thing to point out, when you say you can spread them apart, they have to be separated by, I believe it's 50.
Yeah, there's 50-foot separation.
Yeah. So you're trying to get
50
in
foot
one
between
row.
what and what?
If you do a second row, you
Yeah.
have to separate it by 50 feet. That's just the health code. You want to have it in a nice row because you're trying to get a nice equal distribution. That's the cleanest way to do it. Again, it's not saying that it can't go in that location, but then we can't put the drainage in the other location where the septic system is. So the balance here is design it to code, be better than the code, and then everyone's protected and it will function great.
I'm not sure. I don't understand, but I'm going to let it go. Does the house need to be that shape?
Well, houses could be any shape you desire. This is, again, a modest footprint of only 2,700 square feet. And it's not all completely a basement to it. We have part of it as a crawl space. And that's, I believe, for, again, setbacks from the septic system, so we don't have footing drains. We have a 2-car garage. So yeah, this is a successful design. I believe it's already spoken for, so we're hoping we can get over this hurdle. It's a great piece of property, as you've seen and know.
Can the buffer, can the man-sized boulders, can they come closer to the house? How close can they come to the house? Can even the lawn be interrupted at the house? Can we have a front lawn and a back lawn? Do the lawns need to be that big?
I would say, we certainly have another. Well, let's start at the northerly end. I see no reason why we can't expand that buffer even 15 feet as a condition of this approval. As we come closer to the house, and that would be generally in this area here, we're getting pretty
Hang on a
tight.
second. I don't think I can see your.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I don't control the cursor
Sorry,
in this one. Can you unshare there, Andrew? And I'll put ours back up. Okay.
Hopefully Lynn's computer is faster than yours, Andrew.
He has all that color stuff. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about here. We can easily slide that over, easily 15 feet to make sure we include that tree. And you come here, it's getting a little tight, and it's sloping down, but we can certainly grab another 5 to 8 feet more in this location here.
How many more trees can we save? How many are we cutting down versus how many we're saving?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm sure we can make the concession. I'm sure we can get this one out of that cross-hatched area there.
Okay.
How
about to the north?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know we're saving that one and that one. I could try real hard. What I'm worried about is some of these roots might get damaged by construction. Yeah. We can see if we can. Is there any room to slide this to the west, the system?
Could probably be shifted.
Well, we'll make that our goal to save these two where you see I'm circling right now.
Yep.
We know we're saving that one, and we'll do our best to save this one right here.
Okay. That's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Sure.
Silly question, probably,
Sure.
but between the two plans, the where you have the wetland buffer enhancements, I don't, in the overlay of the other plan that you had up with the trees and everything, I don't understand what is going on in that area in particular in those green spaces versus all the.
Yeah, let's have Andrew bring it up. And Andrew, why don't you kind of really blow up into that area where you can see more definition in your plan?
Yes. Switch, see if it will blow up for me.
It just all looked like tree canopy in the other one, so.
Losing the color a little bit. So you're saying between.
We can't see it yet, Drew. Oh, there, it's starting to come. There we go.
Right. So in there you have like, if you overlaid the other plan, which I know you can't just do like magic, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm not certain what's going on in those areas versus that.
Are you referring to the ones that were highlighted in green?
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's just to provide a reference to refer to this for the actual overall design of this buffer area.
Okay.
Would it help to, I mean, even myself sometimes having a problem, helping you a little bit more distinguish between what's being or introduced versus what's being saved?
That is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And maybe just explain more the extent of activity happening beyond those. We have the proposed demarcation boulders and your silt fence, which we take as the limit of disturbance. And so what exactly might, what's being proposed beyond that limit of disturbance exactly?
Right. So Andrew, if you can blow up where your cursor is right now, just try to max that screen out. I think you can show it a little bit easier. Can you stay with that other screen or not?
The same screen.
Or you lose it?
The layers.
Oh, yeah. Is that right? Okay. Well, guide them. You know how you have the sawtooth here as you're showing where the plants are coming in. If you could just go along that line there and show what you're adding and what's existing, that might help everyone.
Gotcha. So with the boulder demarcation here, in between the boulder demarcation and this red line, which is the approximate limit of the silt fence that's being proposed, this area is going to be seeded with a native meadow mix. And down here, you're going to get a Cornus Florida as well as a scarlet oak down at the bottom in this space between the demarcation and the silt fence. Beyond the limits of where the silt fence is, we're not going to be seeding anything in there. So less ground disturbance in that sense. And the only thing that's really happening is that native shrubs and native trees are going to be planted, sourwoods, dogwoods, and oaks. And
As
then,
infill
yes. So
within the existing.
story
Right.
are going to be supplemented additional flowering trees, which will provide benefits to pollinators, birds, and whatnot.
Ms. Knight?
Yeah, I mean, I still would really like to see what the distances are, especially from the house. I mean, if I look at the Singing Road lot up above, they were quite good at pulling it back so that the dwelling was like outside of the 50-foot review area. And here it's really hard to know how. I mean, it's obvious that you're within the 100-foot most of the building, and so it's like, is there not a way, as Steve said, think about kind of changing the shape of the building so it's not hanging in so much closer to the wetland?
I cannot really speak to changing the shape of the building, but I certainly would be happy to work to expand this buffer.
Yeah, I mean, if it can come up with a front yard, backyard, it would be nice to see.
Get out some of those landscape architect artsy fartsy skills.
We definitely can work to get as much of this expanded out and naturalized as possible.
And Len and Brian, assuming sorry.
I was just going to say, well, we'd really like to get a shovel in the ground. So I was hoping, can we, as a condition of approval over and above what we're showing now, talk about how we would agree to expand on the northern line, the buffer at the property line, bring it out another 15 feet and continue that line till we get to within the house so that we're no farther than 8 feet off the house. That would be our demarcation feature. We can do that. As you come around the septic system, right now we're from the wetlands to the last contour line, 45 feet. I don't know if we can push that, but we can certainly pull the demarcation boulders out another 5 feet after we've graded it, even 10 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I think really what we're looking for is if you can hit that 50-foot off the wetland. I don't want to put words in anybody else's mouth but my own, but if we can hit a non-disturbance limit of 50 feet from the wetland flags, that's probably about all we can ask for. And it may mean shifting your retention system around slightly. I know you're regrading. Maybe just give us a little bit more. I mean, that the pipe doesn't have to be parallel with the property line. You can squeeze it over a little bit if you want. Do some twisting and wiggling in there.
I'm working with the infiltration system's not an issue.
Okay.
I think our only issue is right now the closest corner of the house to the wetlands is the house is 52 feet, it looks like. In our grading limit, which, we can tighten it up a bit, but 45 feet, I mean, if we can agree to that, I'm sure I can work it out here. Maybe it's an extension of a wall, something like that, so I can get rid of these. Sorry, I can't show you on the screen, but I can get rid of those contours off the, what is that? That's the northeast corner of the house. I can do that if we can agree on that demarcation limit of 45 feet opposite the back right corner of the dwelling.
Ms. Knight, how do you have? I mean, is it going to affect any leaving or cutting down any particular tree, Len?
No, it really won't.
And plus, we don't want
we can save. Sure, we can save another one. I can see another one by doing that.
There you go. Yep.
Okay, we're back on mine. Is that okay? No, but he's got his cursor right there. If you can go back, there's a 12-inch maple.
Yep, there you go.
Saved.
There you go. Boy, I don't know if we could save those 1, 2, 3, 4 that you just put your cursor over.
Yep.
I think that'd be a big step in the right direction.
Can we make that a condition of approval?
I don't think we can do it today unless you want to scratch on something and let us look at it.
Well, in the good old days, that was easy to do.
I mean, Alexis, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd consider it. I don't want to be stick in the mud.
I'm only saying this because we truly have, not we, They truly have a buyer, and there's always these promised deadlines to
Oh,
get
yeah.
this darn thing in the ground. Not to put pressure on you, but
Okay,
I think our history with this commission is we're telling you what we can do, we're going to do it.
okay. So Alexis, what do you think? Can we verbalize now something that
Um,
we can work with, or is it just asking?
and
Is it
we
just too
can
much?
try. I mean, I generally don't. I think
Well,
Lynn is great,
may I throw
but,
something out? Now, this is interesting. If I have 5 minutes, I could probably sketch it on and email it to Alexa if I have 5 minutes.
Well, we've got a bond release reduction request. We've got minutes to discuss. I mean, we've got 10 more minutes of meeting at least.
Okay.
You want
All
to
right,
just stay on and we'll move on with our agenda, and I'll just do we need to amend the agenda, Alexis, to say we'll come back to this one?
no.
Okay.
Do you want like a standard, like your standard bond?
Yeah, and then all
Plan
the
thing?
terms and conditions on about, erosion control and
well, while we're discussing it, I could disappear and at least attempt to get this to her.
yeah,
as
please,
fast as
please,
possible. Okay.
definitely. Yep. I don't think we've ever actually done this before.
He's pretty quick. He's been doing it a long time, so
And if other commissioners are uncomfortable with this, say so. If it was more complex, I wouldn't suggest it, but it's a relatively simple adjustment.
But we don't have a draft resol. Do we have a draft
Well, we
resol?
don't, but that's what Alexis is saying. What we'll verbalize right now is she's pulling up her stock template, I'm sure. Oh, she's like, oh, you don't have a stock template?
Oh, I do. It's just,
I mean, I think that in order for us to vote or for it to be like legal, I think the legal team would probably not be so excited given
Oh.
the lecture we had. But I don't know, Alexis, like I think we have to have something that we're voting that people know for the record, like what we're voting on. Right?
yeah. So your motion would have to, sorry, I'm trying to multitask. I'm
No, here,
trying
let
to
me,
prepare a draft.
you do that, and
Um,
let me say what I think you're gonna say, which is Len's got to send us something back. It's got to be recorded. We all have to see it. Alexis needs to have her list of conditions. Okay, that's as far as I can get. I don't know. Again, if you're not comfortable, just say so. Okay, well, we'll keep going. Can we talk about the meeting minutes? So go ahead, Devin.
Oh, no, it's about meeting minutes.
Oh,
Okay. Are we moving on or?
please. Sure,
Okay.
let's.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask to amend that my decision for A25069 for Longshore Road. I was written down that I abstained, but I wanted to change. I'm sorry, that I opposed, but I wanted to change that to abstain, please. I was having issues and with my audio and video and
Oh,
was abstaining. So
okay.
that changed, please.
Sorry about that. And that is
Okay.
for the meeting from January 27th.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was number 7, I guess. So yeah. So anyway, my apologies for that. I realized what it looked like in the recording, but
No worries.
the braid speakers are freezing. So
Sorry
thank you.
about that.
No
Okay.
worries.
Other than that, would you like to move to accept the meeting minutes?
Sure.
With that edit? Okay.
I can make a motion. Yeah.
Can I have a second?
I can second the motion.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Nice catch. And Devin, that's you. Okay, so for future reference, Alexis, it was a unanimous acceptance of the meeting minutes from, I'm sorry, not January 27th, January 13th. January 27th is today. Does anybody have conservation initiatives to discuss? Okay. I don't have anything to say as the commission
Oh.
chair. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Knight.
I do. Just if anybody has anything to add in, because for the Sustainability and Resilience Task Force, I'm working on the energy piece. So if anybody has any, lighthouse towns that are doing good on microgrids or looking at energy that they know of, please let me know. We're looking at Ann Arbor, which has been doing some very cool stuff with geothermal and solar microgrids, and looking at everything from, roof colors to any energy ideas that you have. Just
Wait, so you're with the energy group, not the building group.
I'm with the energy group.
Okay.
So any ideas about any energy topics, renewable, whatever, just throw them in because they're doing quite a wide net on
So-
ideas.
Are you looking for like case studies of other?
Case studies of other towns, other ideas. It doesn't necessarily have to be solar or wind or geothermal, but it can be other things around utilization incentives or I'm not being very specific. My brain is shutting down. But
No, it's okay.
yeah.
I could try
It's all very nebulous.
Very nebulous. So I mean, like, there's a lot of different subcommittees. So I would urge you to go on and look at the website for some of the groups if you have something to submit to the other groups, because they're looking at, again, swap shots, waste, and community outreach on recycling and waste management. Like that.
Has anybody discussed like how hesitant SNU is to, not hesitant, but it's kind of tricky to get solar put up on a house in SNU territory?
Yeah, I mean, one of the people is on wind, so they've been dealing with the fact that the wind projects have been canceled, although they did get an injunction to continue. But yeah,
Right.
but we're still saying having a plan for wind tides, maybe shift a bit, is better than doing nothing and then tide shift and you're not ready.
Devin?
I don't have any big ideas for that, but I did attend the Connecticut League for Conservation Voters last week. And this was almost what the entire day was about. So I can send along some contacts and some generalized thoughts of what happened that day, if that's helpful at all. They talked about how geothermal is not just digging into rock, how there's buildings that give off geothermal energy, and it was really interesting. But it was almost completely about all those things that you just mentioned. So there was a lot of good contacts. If you'd like them, I'm happy to pass them along.
That would be great. That would be really great.
Cool. Very good. How you looking, Alexis?
Great.
Brian?
I think I hear Len, he's rustling some papers. He's probably running it through this scanner now, I think, to
Okay.
get it coming along. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, Alexis, as soon as you are in a decent spot to give us any attention, we could always talk about bond release for 26 Devil's Garden Road. But no rush.
I was just looking into community solar, but it's
What's that?
I was just looking into community solar per Catherine's discussion anyway. We're trying to help filibuster here a little bit.
Well, how does community solar work? Devin?
Oh no, I don't know about that. I have another thing about solar though that I
Over to
just
you.
thought, but
You could answer that too if you want to.
the one thing that they did talk about at the conference last week was solar panels that you can plug in and like put on your porch and stuff.
Yeah.
Just really interesting. So anyway, that was just a thought that came to mind. So, but I don't know about
Utah just approved those, right? I believe.
Who?
Yeah.
Utah.
Oh yeah,
Utah?
Utah's the only other state. So I'm hoping to have it Connecticut potentially be the second.
Oh, I'm waiting for that.
Yeah. So
You plug it into an outlet,
Or
like a 120-volt outlet?
yeah, I don't know if it's just a regular outlet, but they say like they call it like porch solar, where you literally like hang it over your porch.
It's magic, Steve. It's just magic. It falls in the
Yeah.
category of magic.
Well, there'd have to be a way to shut them down when the power grid goes down because you can't have any electricity going back into the grid while the workers are working on the grid. You know, it's like not safe. So I wonder how they do that disconnect. There must be some automatic. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, I don't know all the details, but it was mentioned, and the one question was somebody said, "Can you charge an EV vehicle on it?" And they said, "Very, very slowly."
Very slowly. But you
So,
could definitely run lights and, you know, maybe even a refrigerator,
yeah, cool
depending on
idea.
how many you had.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Or a pump for your boilers, your natural gas boilers, so you can have heat with it if power goes in, if it's sunny, of course.
For your septic system.
Or yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want that backing up.
I'm back. I'm back.
Highland. So did you send anything to Alexis?
Yes, I did, and I could bring it up here as well.
Okay.
Let's see.
And we'll just need
Share.
to make sure Alexis confirms that she got it.
Yep, this is what she should have received. I'll blow it up. And
Okay, so
basically what I
the-
did is I just drew a new line of demarcation boulders. And I'm showing you some of the setbacks here. There's 45 feet there, 45 there, 43 there, and 55 over here to get that tree, these two trees, and this tree as well. How did I
Mhm.
do?
Well, as long as you think that works, I mean the boulders are awfully tight to those two that you're saving, but I mean as long as they're saved, that's really what matters.
Yeah, these are put in afterwards. I mean, we're gonna slide this system a little bit more to the west, and that'll give us a little bit more room as well. So the idea is we want to pull this grading that I'm pointing to right now a little bit more to the west as well.
I see.
So is the boulder, the drawn in boulder line also the limit of grading line?
Alexa, that's what we're shooting for. And right where I am right now, if we can slide this over, and I don't know, I'm gonna get Brian to
Yeah,
slide it as
I
far
believe
as
we
we
could.
can, then that makes this much easier over here too. So yeah, that was my intent, is to see if I could squeeze this grading. So this, right in this location here, this black solid line pops just on the other side.
I
You know,
don't
it
like
still
that we
gives,
are relying on just words saying that the blue field is going to be moved. That's a little tricky.
well, I've got to get this grading outside that demarcation feature. So
Yeah.
I'm relying on that by saying I've had my engineer right next to me. That shouldn't be a problem. What
Okay.
else could do? This is only about a foot or two where I'm showing this to give a nice line in that location. I have to have a wall shown here so we can tighten up
Yeah.
his grading.
Yeah.
Still gives him a nice backyard.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep in mind, there are some grading limits now in the zoning regulations, as you grade close to the
Yeah.
property line.
SFA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're okay in here. I know what you
I
mean.
think you have room, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bunch up the
Len,
system.
I
might be able
appreciate
to.
the hustle. I don't know. We might not quite be there. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm gonna try. We can also, if we're gonna try and slide it as far west as we can, but we can also take off 2, 3, 2, 4 units here and stack them on this side here too. What I presented and filed with you now is a demarcation feature that we can live with. If you approve this, we have no choice but to live with it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I don't think we have the full. I think this is great. I think exactly what you're saying that you want to do is what is good for me. I won't speak for other commissioners. I'm concerned about, we really push applicants hard to make sure that what we got in front of us that we're approving is what's actually going to happen. And, for example, rejiggering the retention system there, as you discussed, I think is fantastic. That's exactly what we'd want. Just the fact that it's not shown in this document is it gives me pause, and I think it's going to maybe get us in trouble as much as I want to help you guys out and the client out.
Well,
Do others,
I'm
this
trying
is
to
just
find a
me.
way to convince you.
I know, I'm sorry. Do other commissioners, and I'm speaking for myself, not as the chair, but just as one of the commissioners. And does anybody else have thoughts? Am I being too strict or stiff?
I don't think so because I mean we have to be, you know, a bit unbiased in terms of all the applications that we come through. Like I'm
Yeah.
empathetic to like what the situation we're trying to like hurry it along as best we can, but I also don't want to put Alexis in a situation where we're compromising process and, you know,
Yeah.
creating precedents for other applications because it's going to create headaches, I think, for Alexis down the road.
Okay. Yeah.
And sorry to interrupt. When my client starts yelling at me, is the next hearing 2 weeks away?
It is February
It is, yes.
is February 10th.
Okay.
And I mean, the commission is telling you you're on the right track. There just wasn't time and you tried. You throw
I
us under the
appreciate
bus
that.
as far as you want. Devin, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I agree as well. I'm uncomfortable moving forward without something. There were too many tries in the explanation, which make me nervous.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
thank you though, Len, for giving it a shot and um
Had this been a game show, you would have been awarded a prize. However,
a parting gift of
B
whatever.
plus.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
All
Well,
right, appreciate
sorry, Alexis, to make you hustle on terms and such. But so yeah, if you don't mind getting something to Alexis, Len and Brian and Andrew, sometime in between, sometime maybe next week so that she's got time to write up her full
Sure.
memorandum and all that stuff.
No, I appreciate that. We have an understanding now. We'll adjust everything else to comply. I understand.
Okay.
right.
Thank you very
And
much.
now, and just keep in mind, I mean, it's not approved.
I
You
understand.
still need to approve it. So this is like not a guarantee that we're good to go next time. It's just just so we're on the same page. I did this with my 7-year-old.
Unfortunately, I understand.
Okay, good. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the night. Okay, Alexis, sorry about that. Can we go back to the bond release or reduction request for S-25-645?
Yes. So this is oh my gosh, too many things open. Bond reduction request. Some of you may recall that this is a corrective action restoration of a disturbed wetland. This was a rear yard that is mostly wetland. There's an existing lawn within the wetland, and the lawn was expanded further into the wetland. They have completed all the work. I'll share let me find my photos here. We did an inspection kind of mid-December. So this is the rear of the house. This is the existing lawn area. This is where there was a constructed shed that was part of the application to remove that shed. And then this is the new demarcation wall. I did let the homeowner know that the wall is a little, the boulders are a little small. So they may need to add some bigger ones. They still have the fire pit here that they had been previously using, but then these are the shrubs. I'll show you some more photos. Again, back of the house, this is the lawn expansion area. It is planted with shrubs. They have not yet seeded with the wetland seed mix. They're waiting to do that in the spring. So again, lawn on this side, demarcation boulders here. This is the fire pit. So they're seeking a reduction at this time.
Oh, I was gonna say, is it because this is not 2 growing seasons, right? Or this
No.
yeah.
So the stop my share. The permit required the posting of a $4,580 bond, 3,628 of that is for plantings that's not eligible for at least 2 full growing seasons. They completed all the plantings in early December of this year. And so $9,952 was held for the removal of the structure, the placement of the demarcation boulders, and some raking away of some of the wood chips. Although most of those were allowed to stay.
I mean, personally, I see progress. I'm okay with it. I agree with you on the boulders. I wouldn't categorize those as boulders, but
Yeah, I wouldn't either. As much as I hate to be nitpicky, but I mean, it doesn't really meet the intent.
Additionally, Alexis, you said they planted everything in December.
They
that
did.
correct?
They completed the planting. Let's see, July.
But they're not asking for that money
yeah,
back.
that's
Yeah.
not.
They had
Okay.
5 months, right? Early December is when some of the plants were in November. And then the remainder of the plants were the first week of December.
I see a boulder.
Yeah, well, it's not even really, not quite
Man size.
man size,
Person sized.
person size, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this is an existing one, and this might be an existing one, and then they kind of filled in. This is an existing boulder.
Well, let me ask this. What is the purpose of the boulder demarcation, right? Like, it's to visually see.
Right, to have a physical demarcation of the change between lawn and buffer, and to be permanent enough that it's hard to dismantle.
Okay, well, the first part of that, I think it is a visual. And I mean, I can sympathize with the fact that like getting boulders in there is costly. And so I think it's demarcated. I think it's movable easily. That's my issue with it. But
Yeah. Speaking to the concerns about precedents, I just am afraid if we let the little rocks go in lieu of boulders, it doesn't give us any ground to stand on when we ask for boulders next time. As much as I don't want to be nitpicky. Ms. Knight?
I mean, are we okay if they went up with like a wall to make that higher if the boulders are an issue and they wanted to go up to make it like 18 inches high or something, or 2
that's what I
feet?
was thinking, if they could build on it.
Just something with more permanence.
Yes.
Yeah, that met the intent of saying that it's demarcated and not easily movable.
Okay, Ms. Allen?
On a related, no, I know they're asking for the release of the bond for the boulders itself, but I guess my question regarding what they planted in December, that's like well after the planting season, and I don't know, how well the plants will do. And so I suppose could we make a note to these applicants that perhaps if they have some vegetation that's a bit more robust, that we can actually see if they can't replace the boulders, having some type of plan or submitting what they've planted, so we know the expected height of the vegetation. That might help us make a decision. But I agree. I think that the boulders are easily removed, so I think that would be favorable to them, for them to have a planting plan where we know exactly the height and depth perhaps of that buffer they're going to have with for their planting plan.
Which I think we do have a planting plan from them, right?
We do.
I think the qualification should be boulders that can't be kicked out of the way
Yeah, so I can go back to the, um, so this is the approved plan. And, zoom in.
While you're looking, I will say,
So
Sue,
proposed approximately 18 to 24 demarcation boulders, or two-man boulders, set 4 feet on center and countersunk 4 inches. There. And then, right, so this is the total disturbed area that was removed of vegetation and filled with wood chips. This is the area that had been kind of successfully established as an expanded lawn area.
Mhm.
So they do have a planting plan that, and then this is the shed that I had mentioned. So here's the wetland line. Like I said,
But
most
you're
of
not
the-
showing anything, Alexis.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not? I'm
Thanks.
sorry. Oh, goodness.
I just realized you were
I'm just babbling.
pointing to things.
Yes. Okay. Here you go. So, this is the note about the boulders. Here are the boulders. This is the total area that was disturbed beyond the boulders. This is the start of the wetlands. This is existing lawn area, pre-existing lawn area. So they do have a planting plan that shows the revegetation of the disturbed wetland with a combination of trees and shrubs, and then the hatched area will be overseeded with native seed mix. The property owner has purchased the seed mix, but has not applied it because of the late in the season that it took her to procure the seed. So the greenhouse has been removed. The hot tub has been moved over. The shrubs, for the most part, have been planted. The seed mix has not been installed, sown, and there's probably three boulders that meet what's been specified.
Hate to see her waste the money if they're not going to take, but they might.
So sounds like a not yet, but return with either more boulders that are more similar to the approved plan, or something that's kind of like a mortared together boulder row would be acceptable, and that would allow at least a portion of reduction of that 952. Okay.
Look, I think that, the Connecticut landscape is covered with stone walls that were built hundreds of years ago and are still there. I think that stone walls work. This is not, boulders are really expensive to get put in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to make, I don't love that that's the requirement. I mean, if it is, it is, but I'm okay with it, but there are areas where like a few flat rocks on the ground isn't going to cut it. So I'd be okay if they built up the stone wall to 18 inches, call it.
All right, but we need a motion for this, don't we? Oh, Catherine, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent, like if they had to move in boulders, then you're going to need equipment to get down there, which I know from the site is really challenging, and it's going to be going across wetlands. So, I mean, a wall would be better.
Sure.
So motion, I don't know what the motion is.
To
Motion-
not
to not-
not allow a reduction or release to the bond as requested.
Yes.
That's your motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Heather, what were you? We can't see you.
I said aye.
Oh, that was you. You're the I. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I think you can tell them Alexis they're close, right? Like I think they're close. I think they definitely showed some good progress. It's just
Okay, I will let her know.
Okay. So the last thing on our agenda, Alexis, is any reporting from you?
No, nothing.
Easy enough. Well, I'm starting to yawn, so that must mean I will move to adjourn the meeting. Can I have a second?
second.
Who wants it?
Oh.
I think I heard Heather first. Devin, I'm sorry. All right, Heather got the second. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you,
bet.
Alexis.